Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another deadline stream. It is game week 11. We have 2 hours until the deadline. So today we're going to be... Where is my screen? Why is my screen not there? There we go. Oh, it's not even in the... What is going on today? Off to a flying start. Today we'll be going through my team. We will be having a look and answering all of your questions as well. And yeah, I don't think there's massive early team news to wait for on this one. There are some 3 o'clock games which maybe are of interest to people, but yeah, I don't suppose we're actually going to get any going into this deadline, but we will see. We will see. Right, I'm going to fix this screen while I'm here because I don't know what has just happened. Ooh, I just need to unlock it. There we go. And then like something like that. Ooh, there you go, on the fly. There we go. And lock. Right. Cool. Good morning. So, usual bits at the start of the stream. Say hello. And what's today's question going to be? Let me know. Let me know what you're having for breakfast. We had dinner last time because it was a Friday night deadline. But let me know what you... Well, if it's not breakfast time, then tell me what you had for breakfast the last time you were there. I don't really... Well, I don't have time to eat breakfast before these streams. My line is... My sleep is more important than my breakfast before these streams. If you haven't already, please do like and subscribe to the channel to get things started off. That would be much appreciated. Then we will do the quick round of questions for all of you who join early. Just say a little bit of a thank you for those of you who are in the stream nice and early every single week. And then we'll get on to the usual round of bits. If Matoma blanked again, would I consider selling? Probably not, because he has Sheffield United at home next week. So maybe after that, but I'd probably keep him for that one. Almond smoothie, very nice. FPL for breakfast, exactly. Weetabix, 3 of them. Do you have anything on them? Or just milk, a little bit of sugar. Beans on toast, nice. Nice. You don't have breakfast, just drink tea, lots of tea. Well, that's what I'm on this morning, as always. As Robbie knew in the chat. That's why the stream hadn't started. I was off making a cup of tea. Good morning to Amir, Ansh, Natty, Tyler, Poku, Ashish, River, Robbie, Varun, Linfard, Immortal, good morning, how are we? Charlie, Amir, Herbert, Sagar, Emre, Beardy, Dimas, Jam, Kaja, Alex, Zico, good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon or good evening, wherever you're watching from. Dilbert, Fiona, good morning to all the members in as well. Thank you all for your support. Nithin, Casper, Amir, Vikram, Philip, Tom from Australia. What time is it there? Must be this time in the evening. Sandapan, Tanky, Mr. Cat, Mohammed, Stephen, depending on Mo, Awesome 2G, Hassan, Tebo, Amir, Dan, and everyone else in the chat. Good morning to you all. So, let's do it's really cold at my house this morning. I don't quite know what's going on, but it is really quite cold. So, I've turned the radiator on, but I've also put a jumper on. Hopefully we warm up. We have a big round of games today. It feels like the first Saturday we've had that there's a lot going on for a while. Well, actually that one was quite big, but last week Saturday was pretty quiet. But whereas today, well, I mean, we've got City, Bournemouth, we've got Arsenal, Newcastle, West Ham, Brentford, and then a few of the other, like if you've got like a Burnley or a Palace defender, an Everton or a Brighton asset, there's enough going on today. I'm not 100% locked in on my team. I actually tweeted it out yesterday. I am still considering a defensive transfer. And if I basically am considering one spot, which is this spot in the middle, the Gabriel spot. It could be Burn, it could be Taylor, or I could use a transfer and buy someone into that spot. Is basically where I'm at with my team. Some of you asking about Matoma and Bowen. The issue with it is if they blank this week is that Matoma is at home to Sheffield United and Bowen's at home to Forest in next weekend. So even if they blank again this weekend, I do think I'd find it hard to sell them. Although Bowen to Saka is a straightforward transfer next week that I could definitely do. Do I have... Let me put it in here. Sorry, -8 would need to sell other key assets. Cool. So Trippier, if you've got Trippier, I definitely wouldn't be benching him. I wouldn't be benching him even for Lamptey. If you've got Lamptey and you're in a position where you're not certain on who to start, I think Lamptey will probably start today for Brighton. He looks like he's back in training. Estupiñán is also not available, so I have no reason to suspect that that he won't play. Do we have any mods in the chat this morning? Doesn't look like it. Might need to get some new mods. Might just have to add to the list. Is Fabian Schär injured? No, he was ill midweek, but I fully expect Schär to play, particularly given how big a game it is this weekend. Do I know if Wan-Bissaka is playing? I don't know if Wan-Bissaka is playing. If you already own him, I would chance on starting him, but because he came off the bench, and I do think he is definitely in their best defence. The other thing to remember is that he can play right back and Dalot can play left back. Like, it's quite possible. So I wouldn't... It's not like Dalot versus Wan-Bissaka. It's Dalot, Wan-Bissaka, Reguilon for two positions, basically. Lamptey or Colwill, Lamptey definitely in that one. As a Chelsea fan, I actually do have a plan to buy a Chelsea player into my team. Because, not yet, but with fixtures in game week... From like game week 16 onwards, like these fixtures here, like I do plan on owning a Chelsea player. Cole Palmer and probably a defender, but I wouldn't go with them yet. Is Udogie out for long? No, he might well start on Monday. But we don't know anything. It's basically the same as we got last week, which is a little bit worrying. Just because like I'm a little bit unsure exactly whether to believe what's being said, because last week he basically said, oh, he could play like he's trained. And apparently he trained Thursday, Friday last week, missed the Friday game, and is still a doubt for Monday. So let's see. I would suspect that Udogie probably plays. If I haven't wildcarded already, it depends what your team looks like. If your team is okay, then I wouldn't worry. Don't wildcard for the sake of it. Wildcard when you think your team needs it. I do think that if you're wildcarding now, you're starting to miss the gain that people in game weeks 8, 9 and 10 gained. This is probably the last week that I maybe want to do it. The other thing to remember is game week 19 can also be a really nice wildcard opportunity if you haven't played it. If you have the ability to save your wildcard to game week 19, then I would definitely consider it. Would I start Lamptey? I mean, if I had Lamptey over Charlie Taylor, Lamptey would be in 100% and I wouldn't even be considering a transfer this week. So, yes. I wonder if I can get... last game week. We just won one game week. And we just won defenders and we won... Simicast is the highest predicted scoring defender this week, followed by Anderson, Varane, if you believe in United. Who falls higher? Charlie Taylor has 2.94. Gabriel has 2.7. and Burn has 2.5. Diaz out. So Klopp has mentioned that Diaz has returned to training this week. Whether it means he comes in or not, we don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Diaz starts on the left, but I would also not be surprised to see it be Jota again. I probably would consider, if you've got a route to a midfielder that you really want this week, do it this week. If you don't, then I think the likes of Diaz to Maddison or Saka next week is a straightforward transfer. So you can always keep him and hope he plays against Luton. And even if he doesn't, he can come off the bench against the Luton side, who are far from solid defensively. So I'd only sell him if you have an easy route. Those of you with James or Prowse, a few of you asking in the chat, Jonah 5, you've got James or Prowse, thoughts on him, mate, couldn't afford Bowen. I'm not a massive fan of Ward-Prowse. I think he's playing a lot deeper. With Alvarez potentially injured, he's most likely to play deeper again this week. I would consider selling him. A few of you asking about a Dinger in the chat. I quite like a James Ward-Prowse to a Dinger. It frees up a little bit of money. The difference between a Dinger and Palmer, which I spoke about in my 5 players to buy video this week, is that a Dinger is better short term if you have the luxury to then move a Dinger to Palmer in game week 16. If your future transfer plans means that you don't have a spare transfer in and around then, and you're taking a -4, then I think I might just go straight to Palmer. My predicted lineup had Palmer at centre forward again this week. I think we might play without a striker against Spurs, with Palmer being in that role. So he could definitely do well. I do prefer a Dinger for the short term, but I don't prefer it enough to then give you a headache further down the line. Triple captain Haaland. So actually, I've had quite a few questions about this. The answer is no. You will never hear me recommend triple captioning a player outside of a double game week. There are potential rumours that we might, or predictions I best say, that we get a game week 20 double game week for Manchester City, which includes Sheffield United at home and Brentford at home. Now, it is in around the Christmas period, so there is a potential for a bit of a rest for Haaland, but I would still rather take the gamble on that he at least plays one, and it comes off the bench and the other overplaying it this week. So it's not a triple captain opportunity for me this week. It's not a double game week, so I won't be recommending playing it. Trippier to Gahey and Watkins, or Trippier and Porro. Pedro. Nazim, I'm not really sure I understand the question. Trippier to Gahey and Watkins. I mean, if Trippier is your way to get Watkins this week, Watkins is definitely a better asset this week, and probably next week as well. I wouldn't bench Trippier for Lamptey. No. Stripe. If you've got Trippier, I would. There's not many defenders I play this week in Trippier's place. If we look at the predicted points, only Trent and Virgil have more predicted points this week than Trippier. Start 2. Palmer, Saka, Trippier. I'd probably bench Palmer. Bowen or Saka. I probably would play Bowen. No, Saka. Saka against Burn. That's why I've benched down Burn. Where am I going with my chair? Yeah, Saka against down Burn is a little concerning, I have to admit. So, you don't own Haaland, you don't know what to do. So, as my hot topic bit says, I would only buy Haaland this week if it's for a -4 or less. You sold Haaland for a reason, and you need to, if you are actually sitting there thinking your reasoning for selling Haaland is now wrong, and that you definitely want him for this run of fixtures, then potentially do it for a -8. But if you're sitting there thinking, I did it for a reason and I actually still think the reasoning is sound, then only buy him back for a -4, because in game weeks 12, 13, 14, you'll have the same debate. Game weeks 15, 16, 17, you'll probably want him back. People are like, oh, I might not need him for game week 15. He's got Aston Villa away. I'm pretty sure everyone will want to buy him back for that fixture. Villa are still leaking goals. And, I mean, Liverpool have Sheffield United that week, so you could get away with it. You could get away with it, captain Salah that week. If Salah's your route to him, then yeah, that's fine. But you're definitely like, here, let me captain Erling Haaland away at Luton. Please and thank you on Saturday the 9th of December. Burn, Lamptey or Taylor? Lamptey. Yeah, Lamptey. Why Dawson over Kilman? Dawson just has a little bit... So he's referring... who asked? Tamosa, thank you. He's referring to my top 5 players to buy. Dawson is my number 5. He rotates really well. If you're looking at a defence that has like Cash, Gabriel, Tsimikas in it, Dawson rotates the best out of them. Now, it's Wolves as a whole. Dawson has better underlying data and more goal threat than Kilman, probably. So, yeah, it's basically done on goal threat. Moyo Tov, thank you for joining. Base tier member, welcome to the channel. Thank you very much. View your channel. Sorry. Cool. Buy Cresswell or Emerson, has the spot nailed. I wouldn't buy Cresswell. Emerson, I believe, was suspended, so he didn't play the last one. So, yeah. That is why. That is why. Also, really boring for you all. I've changed the setting that... So that basically on a stream, you can have high stream delay, medium stream delay, or low stream delay. High stream delay is good because if your Wi-Fi cuts out for a few minutes, or not for a few minutes, for like 10 seconds, the stream is like 20 seconds behind so that it will upload it, and then effectively you're watching it as a video just 20 seconds after it's been uploaded, so it doesn't like buffer. And I've always done that, but my Wi-Fi's been pretty good, so I've moved it to medium. Let's see how it holds out today. And then if it keeps fine, then we can always move it to low. It doesn't, I mean, it makes a little bit of difference, but you replace Neto with Bowen. Bowen's a fine place. If the issue with Bowen is he's like a million more than like Mbuemo, Diaby, Matoma. And I'm not really sure it's worth it if that 0.5 million gets you another transfer that you want to do. But if it doesn't get you another transfer you want to do, Bowen is still a good option. I just could do with a Bowen return today. You're buzzing. The weekend of the 9th of December, your son is being a mascot on the 5:30 game. No way. What is the 5:30 game? Villa Arsenal. That's a big one. I will watch out for it. I will probably forget, so you will probably need to remind me, but I will look out for it. Neto replacement. I probably would go with Dinger or Palmer. I'm a little bit wary of going Hwang Hee-chan just because I'm not certain how Wolves will look without Neto. Neto, I think, has created, 3 assists for Hwang's or more. So yeah, Lamptey starts, yeah. Play 2 of Udogie, Burn and Saliba. Oof. I mean, I probably would chance it on Udogie. And then I'd probably play Saliba. Bowen sadly looked leggy and tired despite the goal midweek. Right. I know. I understand why West Ham went for a strong team in that game. I get it. But I get it, but then they're all going to be knackered again this weekend, and then they're all going to play midweek again. So that's the, yeah. Sorry, 2 seconds. There we go. Good morning. Play Udogi and Share or sub already have Simicast and Cash and Taylor. Well, presumably you're playing Simicast and Cash, so you don't need to play Udogi and Share. Or unless you're playing a back four. I just play Share. Yeah. The issue with me is I've got Gabriel who should come back into the team, but there is the doubt there. The other one is Burn, who I think will get cooked by Saka this weekend. Donna, send me a message on Instagram or Twitter, and I will absolutely get that sorted for you. Absolutely. Get it sorted after the stream for you. Just send me the same message on Instagram or Twitter. Thoughts on Maddison? Maddison I still like. I think Maddison will continue to tick along nicely. But as we saw at the weekend, for me, he's not Son. The Son returns are, for me, better and will be more consistent than Maddison. No, will be better and more explosive than Maddison. So I prefer Son as an asset. But if you're really struggling with a team value to go and get Son over Maddison, then Maddison is still a good buy, and there will be points in the season where we'll probably want both back again. But while there's difficult fixtures, I'm happy with one, and Son for me is the better of the two. But that's based on my team value not being bad. Trippier and Archer to Taylor and Darwin for a -4. Trippier to Darwin. Would I rather want Darwin for a -4 over Trippier? Probably not. No, I probably wouldn't. Is Højlund a good buy? Absolutely not. Here's a good stat for you all. I'll do my transfer plans in just a second. The Manchester United front three, so whoever it was on the pitch at the time, the front three have scored a total of 1 goal so far this season, and that was the one Marcus Rashford goal. Their striker and their right wing are yet to score in the Premier League so far this season, and their left wing has scored 1 goal so far this season. I'm not sure why people want to be investing in Manchester United right now, even despite the fixtures. Cool, so let's do a little bit of my team. I'm not set. I'm set on 10 players in my 11. If you haven't already, there are 1,500 of you watching. Good morning to you all. Good luck this week. I will do my best to get around to all of the questions I can. But if you haven't liked already, there's only 100 likes on the stream. That would be much appreciated. Weird question. Gordon or Adingra? Oh, Ansu Fati or Gordon? Ansu Fati, definitely. I think you'll start. The teams I'm really interested in this week are City, Brighton, Villa. The 3 big teams that have had a week off this week. And not annoyingly, but Forest also had a week off. Did Bournemouth play in the Cup? Yeah, they did. They lost to Liverpool. So Bournemouth have played in the Cup, which is good for Haaland. Everton played in the Cup, which is good for Mitoma. This is also why I'm not on Salah, captain. Because Salah played 90 in the Cup, and Luton are out of the Cup. So, I mean, I'm writing a narrative that I want to write here, but it fits. If the shoe fits, wear it. In the long term, Brighton will be the rotation risk. 100% I agree. But look at Matoma's minutes. Tell me that Matoma's a rotation risk. The one game he didn't start was Bournemouth, where they were losing at half-time, and he came on at half-time and scored twice. He hasn't scored since, to be fair. 3 goals, 3 assists. But my point is, I kind of just want him for this game. I want to get him through Sheffield United, and then I'm happy. Like, I'm going to sneeze. That's why Stream Deck is so much better than not having one, because otherwise I'd be scrambling trying to find the mute button, whereas I just have a little thing there. So my plan with Mitoma, little side note, is I imagine he starts this weekend. I then hope he plays Sheffield United. It's then after the international break, and he didn't travel last time, but I believe he's meant to travel this time. But I hope to get this game out of him. And then it's where the Brentford fixtures swing. So in game week, Brighton, Brentford here. So game week, where are we? Here we go. So Brighton play Sheffield United, Forest, and then it's when the Brentford. So I will plan on doing Mitoma to Mbeumo. So I just want Mitoma for the next 3, and I want him to not blank in all of the next 3. A lot of you asking about Lamptey. If you've got Lamptey as your cheap option and you're looking at a third defender spot that you don't like, absolutely play him. So my transfers this week. Let's get Plan FPL up. This is the site that I'm starting to use in all my videos, all my team selections as well. I hope you find it useful. I definitely think it is more beneficial to you all, but you might not agree. Oh, my nose. My nose gets very blocked after I sneeze. Fun fact for you all. Sure, that's what you needed on a Saturday morning. Do you keep Mbeumo? If you've got Mbeumo now, I would keep him and I'd hold him through those difficult games, yes. Because he got West Ham this week. Also, Brentford didn't play in the Cup. They were out of the Cup. Yeah. So Brentford have had a week off, and West Ham played a full 11 against Arsenal in the Cup. It's not exactly what you want to hear. It's not exactly what you want to hear. I just realised that in all this time, I've had weird, like, crops on my camera. So I was really small. Is that? Yeah, that's right. That's a little bit better. Will Lamptey start? I think so. I've had more questions about Lamptey this morning, I think, than I've had about any other player. So those of you listening, I do think Lamptey will start. I do think he will play left back, and if you've got him, with the other defences you've got this week, I would probably start him. So, I'm about 75-25. 75 rolling a transfer this week. 25 not making a transfer this week. My plan in game week 12, the big thing for me is, do I buy Bukayo Saka? With Bowen having Forest at home, followed by Burnley away and Palace at home, Diaby having Fulham, and then Mitoma having Sheffield United and Forest, it's not going to be Mitoma that goes, because Mitoma Sheffield United at home, right? So I'm not selling him. Like, it's not happening. Unless we get real confirmation that he's not going to start, but they play on Sunday, so I don't think that's going to happen. So it's not going to be Mitoma. My ideal situation is to sell Diaby in game week 13 for Saka when he plays Spurs. And the other thing is, I'll be able to afford it by selling cash, because I can do cash to someone else, because they then have Spurs, City, Arsenal in 3 of their next 4, and it will probably be time to start selling cash. Captain Haaland this week, yeah, for sure. Sorry, this is just, this is definitely Captain Haaland this week. So that's the plan next week, to do Diaby. Like, if I want to, in 13, I can do Diaby to Saka easily and just sell cash. But if I roll the transfer this week, it does mean I'll have to make a move in game week 12. And I don't really have anything that I'll really want to do. Which is why I'm considering making a move this week. But then if I make a move this week, and I decide that I want Saka next week, the only real way to do it would be Bowen. Which isn't the end of the world. Bowen, I could do Bowen to Saka next week. But then in 13, I do have Diaby away at Spurs. I then have triple Villa away at Spurs. I mean, I could sell cash that week. With suddenly strikes. Everyone, game week 13, go and look at your defences in game week 13. Unless you've got if you've got a Palace defender, okay. Arsenal away at Brentford is about the best I've got. If you've got a Lamptey, maybe you hope he starts. Burnley at home to West Ham, like that's not great for either of them. There are no, and then Spurs play Villa. There's nothing. This is why I was considering buying a Wolves defender, because Wolves have the best defensive fixtures for the weeks that I need him. So that would be Burn to probably Craig Dawson, because he's useful in game weeks 11, 13 and 16, the 3 weeks that I need a defender. He's really useful in them. So long story short, I am considering Burn to a Wolves defender. It frees up 0.1 as well. I'm not certain over the next... I might be proven wrong, but between now and game week 16, in 6 weeks, how many clean sheets do I expect them to keep if Botman is also not going to be back? Lascelles has been playing well, but he's no Botman. He's no Botman. No Haaland. Who to captain? Salah. So I understand if you don't have Haaland, why you'd want to captain Alvarez. And I don't think it's an awful shout, but I still think I would go Salah, just because you get the extra point for a goal, the clean sheet if they keep it, that he's on penalties as well, which we've seen be a massive factor over the past few weeks. So for me, if you don't have Haaland, Salah is the next best captaincy pick. Salah is the next best captaincy pick, as per my captaincy ranking. To be honest, my captaincy ranking, I could have put Haaland, Salah, and then just left the rest blank, because I don't think I'd really feel comfortable starting anyone else. But yeah, so I mean, Watkins is there against Forest, then it's Alvarez, then it's Darwin. Darwin versus Alvarez is pretty close, but Shaw to Anderson. Anderson's online data has been a little bit better, but I don't think it's worth the money. How much is he now? 4.8. 5 mil now. Did he start at 5 mil, or has he risen 5 times? I'm sure he started at 4.5. Maybe he didn't. I mean, he has scored loads of points, so I imagine he started at 4.5. Definitely not worth it. 0.08 XG per 90. .06 XG per 90. Mitchell is also back. So you could just go for Mitchell at 4.5, who doesn't have much goal threat, but definitely has the highest assist threat. I would go with one of the cheaper ones. Gahey versus Mitchell is very close. It's just whether you... It's basically this week. Like, he said he's back in training, and there's no... Oh, look at his starting price. Is that there? Oh, here. Duh. I've never scrolled along that far, I don't think. He started at 4-5. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. What if you copy me every week from week 1? I mean, you won't be able to because I make transfers early on in the week. And there'll be certain weeks that you definitely will not be able to when I make early transfers and players change in price. And what's that meme? It's a sad little life, Jane. I just, yeah. I mean, you can't. I deliberately make it impossible for people to copy my team. My members can't copy my team either. So, my team will never be behind a paywall, but it will also be impossible for you to copy my team every week. Am I doing Movember this year? Right. I could try and grow a moustache for about a year, let alone a month, and you probably still wouldn't notice. So, could I go over Neto replacements and their pros and cons? Of course. Douglas Luiz is playing for the team who's going to score the most goals, but is playing a little bit deeper. But he is on a lot of set pieces and a lot of goals. I don't actually hate him. He is on 4 yellow cards is the only thing to add there. The other one is Hwang Hee-chan, who has the best goal involvement so far. Wait, is there a paywall in FPL? No. No, there isn't. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? I'm saying I would never put my team behind a paywall. So I would never make people pay for my team. What was I asking? I was answering something. But I can't remember. Start one of Gabriel, Taylor and Byrne. I've got all 3 and I'm currently playing Gabriel. Play Gabriel or take a -4 to swap Byrne, Gahey, Anderson, Dawson. I wouldn't take a -4 at all. Oh, yeah, Hwang. So, yeah. So my issue is that I do worry about Wolves without Neto. He's been so good for them and such a good out route that even when he's not assisting, he is involved in what they do. So I would be a little bit concerned, which is why in my 5 players to buy video, he's not the option that I wanted to go. So I would probably go Douglas Luiz if you want short term, but I probably would go Adingra or Cole Palmer. Adingra definitely has the best short-term fixtures. It's just we don't know how nailed he is when they play like this weekend. Everton, then they play Ajax away, I think, and then they play in the Premier League at the weekend. So, but I would probably go with Adingra. You're a new fan of soccer and FPL. I really enjoy your videos. Thank you very much. Will Tsimikas play this week? He played. I have no reason to think Tsimikas won't play. I'm not sure where the panic comes from on Tsimikas. He played midweek and at the weekend. He'll play this week and then he'll have a rest in the Europa League again, like he did the week before. Professional footballers should be able to play 3 games in a week occasionally. I understand you're not going to want to do it every single week, like weekend, midweek, etc., etc. But I'm not sure where the panic comes from him, to be honest. I'm not sure where the panic comes from him. Thank you all for joining, by the way. I hope you're having a lovely morning. I'll get to more questions in a moment. We'll do a little bit of recap on my team. There are 1,800 of you in here and only 300 likes. So if you haven't liked or subscribed as well, that would be much appreciated. Yeah, it would be very helpful as we try and... I So the aim of 100k subs this season is still on. We need 14,000 more. Do I have early team news for Man United and Maguire? No, we know he's travelled, but Varane has also travelled apparently. So there were photos of it this morning. There were photos of it this morning. Keep Solanke and roll the transfer, or Solanke to João Pedro. Please don't buy João Pedro, or take a -4 to fund Solanke to Darwin. I probably would. I probably would look to sell him this week. I wouldn't go João Pedro because it will just be an issue with Ferguson every week. It will just be an issue with Ferguson every week. One sec. Sorry. So yeah, I wouldn't go João Pedro. Anyone considering a Brighton forward, I wouldn't do it. But take a -4 to fund Solanke to Darwin. I don't know what the transfer is, but I would probably prefer that. Will I be starting Lamptey over Gabriel? I mean, I don't own Lamptey, unfortunately. Would I? Yes. I would, but why start Palmer versus James Ward-Prowse this week? Both set pieces and pens. I'd probably go Palmer because I think Palmer might play up front, whereas I think Ward-Prowse will play defensive midfield again. Solanke to Nketiah. I mean, I probably wouldn't do it this week. Just because of the fixture this week, but going into game week 12, you may well want to do it. The issue is we still don't we don't know when Jesus is going to be back. He definitely won't play 12. I mean, he could be back in 13, but I think it's very unlikely. 14, you're starting to get he'll be 14, but then 14, 15, 16, right, are very quick succession. So I don't hate Nketiah. It's not a punt that I'd probably take myself, but I understand why you'd want to do it. So as a Solanke replacement, if it's a straightforward swap, then yes, just know that you're going to have an issue in a 3 or 4 weeks when Jesus comes back. Play bench boost. I mean, I wish my bench was. I mean, they're all at home. But I definitely don't think my bench is good enough for a bench boost this week. Best time to play the wildcard. You didn't play it yet. I mean, it depends on your team. If your team looks fine, then I'd plan to play it in game week 19. Hey, Ross, play Anderson or Burn? I'm sure Ross would say Anderson. Don't I think I jinx the best player to buy every week? I think the highest transferred in player is blanked the past, or 8 of the 10 game weeks this season or something crazy. Solanke to Alvarez. It depends how you feel about Alvarez from next week. So a lot of people are considering selling Alvarez in game week 12 because they then play Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs, Villa. So I'm not sure I would do Solanke to Alvarez, to be honest. I know it's good for this week. A few people have also asked me about selling Watkins, and it's madness, basically. Look at the consistent return so far this season. He's blanked once against Liverpool, and then against Luton. And against Luton, he put up 1.4 expected goal involvement. How he didn't score or assist in that game, I will not know. So just because he blanked at home to Luton doesn't mean it's time to sell him. He's still playing for the team that has scored the most goals so far this season. And I expect them to continue to score goals. So Watkins is going absolutely nowhere for me. At all. Even when he plays City and Arsenal at home, I wouldn't be surprised if he scores in one of these. And if he scores in one of the two, Bournemouth, Brentford, Sheffield United around it, you'll want him for this run again. So if he gets a goal in one of these two or an assist in one of these two, like, that's fine. I actually plan on holding Watkins for quite a long time. And I say that about a few of my players. So Archer, like, we'll keep for now. Like, Salah, Son, Watkins, Haaland, like, these. And then Tsimikas until Robbo comes back. I don't think I'll change this core very much, which, given that Taylor is then a bench player, I mean, I'm playing with 6 spots, basically. I'm playing with 6 spots. We might get Robbo back in about game week. Like, I might sell him then, but that's like 10 game weeks away. So for now, he's a long-term hold. So I'm basically using my transfers on 6 spots in my team. I might, if I needed it, I could do Archer down. But I'm interested to see if Archer comes back into the team. Because he didn't start, but I think he will. I presume he will. So, I mean, every 6 weeks, I can effectively refresh the players I want. Apparently, Shah might not play due to illness, and I made my transfer ready. I would chance it on Shah. I think he'll probably play, given how big a game it is. But triple captain Haaland, no. So still no on any triple captains this week. No. Do I sell Udogi or Burn for Tsimikas? Probably Udogi. Do I have plans for Saka? Would I keep Saka this weekend? Yes. And I noticed this. Saka is being more transferred out than he's being transferred in, which is crazy in my eyes. He's been more transferred out than he's been transferred in. He had net transfers last week, but yeah, which I don't really understand, if I'm completely honest, but it is what it is. I'm quite happy with that. Do I have plans for Saka? I do. It's just whether I do it in game week. Let me reset. Everyone's always asking for the link to this website as well, so let me put it in the chat. Before I get the questions. And those of you asking as well how to sign up to member, if you go onto my YouTube account, there will be this join button here. It will either be here or it will be over in the top right. And then it will give you the benefits of all of them. I need to record a little video. You can do a little video that sits there that explains it. But yes. So that's my core. So do I plan on getting Saka? Yes. Do I plan on doing it next week? The issue is I've got to sell one of my defenders to get him. And I've got Bowen, Diaby, Mitoma next week. Forest at home, Fulham at home, Sheffield United at home. I've got to sell one of them to go and get him, which I don't really want to do. That's the thing. That's the thing. Who would you sell, or would you wait? Put Bowen, Diaby, Mitoma, or wait in the chat. The issue is I also, like, I could do Bowen. If I do Diaby, I have to free up money. I don't have enough to do it. Mitoma or Bowen, who do you play? I mean, I'm sure you've got a worse option in your team to play this week than Mitoma or Bowen being your decision. But I'd go Mitoma based off having a week off. Saka to City mid this week, and for which one? Absolutely not. I do not. The City mids are not worth it long term, unless you're wildcarding next week. But I wouldn't do that at all. I wouldn't sell Mitoma. I wouldn't buy a City defender, especially in place of Saka. Mitoma, wait. I mean, let's see how they do this weekend. Because if Bowen blanks again, and then it might be him. But then I've got Diaby. Then it's the Diaby away at Spurs, which is annoying. If that was a better fixture, then... But we'll see. Why not sell Archer down? I mean, I could do that, but it feels like a waste of a transfer. Start 2, Palmer, Maguire, Gabriel. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'd probably bench Gabriel. If you've got a United defender in your team already, I probably would play him. It burnt blanks this week, regardless of the fixtures, you're selling him to Saka. It may well be my move this week if he blanks. I know it's Forest. I know the fixtures are still there for him, but he got lucky against Villa. He got 9 against Sheffield. Like, the returns are good. But I do fear Saka. I do fear him. Madison to Matoma or Alvarez to Darwin. I wouldn't do Alvarez to Darwin this week, so no. Oh, Shiv, I'm very sorry to hear that. Send me a message on Instagram or Twitter, and we can chat about it. Really sorry to hear that. 60 points last week. Udogie will not be available this week. We don't actually know. Gusto's the only one I have to replace him in your 3-4-3. I don't think Gusto will play. Udogie might. I don't know on Udogie. I'd sell him for free, but not for a hit. Diaby or Madison. I quite like. Well, I mean, Diaby's very recency biased, having just played against Luton, having blanked against West Ham and Wolves. But I mean, he did massively overperform last week as well. So maybe it's. But I don't like for me to do Diaby out and go and get him in. It leaves me 0.3 short. It would be if it's 0.2. If Diaby rises, I could do Archer to like Osula. It's not a very luxury transfer, but I could do that. There are no 4.4 defenders. I think aren't Everton 4-4. They rotate so badly though. Isn't like Tarkowski 4-4? Fulham, they are so bad. Diego Carlos. Nah. None of these really set the world alight, do they? Totti, but Totti's not nailed. Veltman, but I'm not buying Veltman after I swear Veltman plays like 45 minutes every single week. He's on at half time. He's off at half time. I just feel like it's a complete headache with him. Just over an hour to go until the deadline. Anything happening on the timeline? That is the next thing. We probably won't get any team news at 10 to 10 in the morning, but so you choose your transfer. You got an Nketiah instead of Edouard. Fair enough. Son comes in by game week 13. Juan comes in next week for free to free the bank. Nice. Yeah, send me a message. Send me a WhatsApp. Alvarez to Archer and Anderson to Matoma and Buemo. Not this week. Alvarez is Bournemouth at home. Do not do it this week. I would wait a week and potentially do it next week, but I wouldn't sell Alvarez this week. Should I take a -4 to do Neto to someone or just play Taylor of Burnley? Thing is, it's a transfer you have to make at some point, so I probably would do it. I probably would do it this week. Got stuff on my camera. Trippier to Gahey and Anderson from Newcastle to Matoma. Trippier to Matoma, would I do it? Only for free. Would I do Trippier to Matoma? Yeah, because of Sheffield United next week. What are my opinions on Madison to Bowen? I probably wouldn't do it this week. I'm not massively confident on Bowen this week. It's probably the midfielder or the attacker that I have least confidence in. Could do with a... So, for those of you who watched last week, I basically, a lot of... Go on, Harry, spit it out. I was very unsure of what to do last week, based on the fixtures it gave me this week. So, this week, I could have What am I trying to say? So last week, I didn't know whether I could have kept Maddison or I could have bought Saka, but I was worried about the fixture this week. Now, the probable answer was I should have just kept Maddison. But I knew Maddison would go eventually to buy Saka, so I knew he was going to go. So I have taken a short-term punt on Mitoma, which hasn't started well, but it also got me Simicast last week. So I do need them to cash in. I need this 3 in particular to cash in again this week, particularly over Saka and over Maddison. And if it does, then I think it's a pretty good decision that I made last week. So I'm hopeful, but I feel like I need a green arrow this week. Could you go over Palmer, Adingra, Hwang and Gordon and their pros and cons? Sure. So the issue with Gordon is their fixture this week. The fixtures long term are also slightly more difficult, but he's probably the best. But the issue is in game week 16, it is Palmer, full stop. It is Palmer from game week 16 onwards. So although I like Gordon, the fixtures don't really work that well. So Hwang Hee-chan, I have an issue with how I think Wolves will perform without Neto. Some people don't, but I personally am a little bit concerned about how Wolves will perform without Neto. So with that being the case, I would probably go with Adingra. Did you miss anything? Not really. Haaland could be benched. I mean, he has had a week off. Man City have all had a week off this week. So I don't really see it, if I'm honest. 2 free transfers. Should I do Burn to Gahey and roll, or use the second transfer on Maddison to Mitoma? I wouldn't do the Maddison to Mitoma move unless it frees up money for you to do something better next week, because that frees up what, like $1.5 million? That's the only reason I do that this week. You're playing Wildcard this week. Should I play Raya or Areola? Probably Raya. Douglas Luiz also works. He also works. But I think just the issue is if you go Douglas Luiz to Palmer, you're then leaving the money spare. So I would probably just do Adingra then Palmer. But Bruno, 14 months member. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Varon, welcome. Thank you to my members. You all are... Everyone is massively appreciated, but the members for supporting me even more. Thank you all. 14 months, that's crazy. What are my opinions on Szoboszlai? I actually quite like him. He's probably like 0.5 more than I'd really want to pay for him. If he was in and around that Mitoma, Diaby, like Mbuemo price, he'd be really, really interesting. But I feel like I have the same issues with him that I'm having with Bowen as well. He's just a little bit too expensive. If Kudu starts again, that could be an interesting one, but I probably won't buy him. Looking to sell Madders, any ideas? I mean, my 5 players to buy video has Diaby in it. My top buys has Mitoma and Diaby in it. So, and Adingra, probably one of them. I could really do with Mitoma doing something. There is a lot of football today. I need a big Brighton and West Ham performance this weekend, and I'm not expecting it from West Ham. Neto to Adingra. You butchered that, but oh well. Yeah, I like that move. Botman goes to Simicast. Botman I would sell. So on Botman, anyone who's still got him, it sounds like it's more of a concern than we originally thought. It sounds like he might be out for a little bit longer. So if you've got Botman, I don't think he'll play again before the break. So yes. What job do I do? I do market research. Yeah. So hang on one sec. Would I start Gordon or Taylor this week? Gordon. If you're ever in doubt, always favour the attacker for me. Clean sheets have been very, very difficult to... very, very difficult to predict this season. Kilman or Dawson? Dawson has slightly better goal threat, so I'd probably go Dawson. What is market research? So basically, we look at what people are buying in the shops and recommend to brands what to do with their products. So we look at data, a little bit of data analysis of what people are buying, and we recommend what to do with your products as a result. I think it's quite interesting. I think it is very interesting, actually. Alvarez to Nunes. Definitely not this week. Alvarez out before Bournemouth at home. I cannot get behind. Jim, thank you for the super chat. You left no message. I will look out for it in the chat. Start a Dingra or Gahey. Definitely a Dingra. Don't bench him this week, especially after Brighton have had a week off as well. Maguire or Lamptey. Probably Lamptey. I do think Lamptey will play today, but I am guessing. I have no information on it. Surely it's Salah for captain against Luton? No. Over Haaland against Bournemouth? Nah. Oh, just Excel. Salah played 90 midweek. Luton had a week off. Haaland played no minutes midweek with them all having a week off. Bournemouth played in the cup. Haaland at home. It's Haaland for me. Will Kyle Walker play 90 both games? Both games? Which one? Weekend and midweek, or weekend and next weekend? Because the fixture next weekend is Chelsea. It's all right. Luton are improved. I mean, a little bit, but not. Gakpo is back. I don't think Gakpo will start. Let's go last 4 matches. Oh, that's last 6. No, last 4. And have a look at whether... I mean, over the last 4 games, Luton statistically are the worst defence in the league with 11 goals conceded. Bournemouth are third worst with 9. Who have Luton played in that time? Oh, they did play Villa. I mean, they have played Spurs. I mean, it's not even that bad. They did put up 2 XG against... 2.9 against Everton. And they won. Oh, Everton. What happened there? Yeah, I'm excited to watch football this week. Udogie over Gusto it is. I don't think Gusto will play. I mean, he might, but... I think Reece James will start. Sorry, one sec. What am I trying to do? Oh, I don't mean to keep playing that. Where are we? There we go. Sorry, I know I've played that about 4. Am I rolling my transfer? Well, I need to have a look at my team, don't I? So, with my team, I just am considered. Let's have a look at the Wolves data. Let's go and have a look at Wolves defensively. Thank you, Veron. Yeah, please like the stream. Let's have a look at their underlying data. 2 XGC, but that was to Newcastle. 0.6 against Bournemouth, but they did concede. 1.6 against Villa. 0.87, and then it was pretty rough against Luton, Liverpool, Palace, Brighton. They just rotate really well where I need them. Am I making a transfer? How are players looking? Like, where's the Diaby? Diaby's own. Diaby will probably rise if he gets a return this weekend. Have a look at Aït-Nouri. So, I did look at Aït-Nouri. He is playing left midfield at times, or left wing back. But it's like this that concerns me. The other thing is one of the games I want to play in is these two. Tuesday, the 5th of December, and it's game week 15 and 16, which is the midweek game of fixtures in December. And that just concerns me a little bit about whether he'll play all three of them. Now he might, because they don't have other fixtures to really worry about, but there is a little bit of concern in me that he might not. There is a little bit of concern in me. So I probably would go safer with one of the centre-backs, I think, if it was me making the decision this week. I have to remove Rashford. I mean, I probably would. If you want to wait till next week and do it to Saka next week after the fixture this week, then I get it. Bueno shed minutes, but now he's injured. Yeah, that is true. How long is he out for, though? I mean, he's not out for very long by the sounds of things. Do I think Alvarez is a good hold against Chelsea? I wouldn't worry if you've got Alvarez against Chelsea. I mean, look at us. Look at us play. We are hardly setting the world alight. So that's the only thing about Bueno is he didn't play in all the others though. He wasn't the 45-minute sub in any of those games. I would probably just go safe. Like, I would just probably go safe with a centre-back if I was going to buy one of them. I do fancy it though, but yeah. It's Lewis Dunk time. Due some clean sheets and on free kicks. How much is Dunk? Not 4. Still 5. Nah. Dave. Thank you for joining as mid-tier. Send me a message on... Oh, you're already in the group chats. Thank you very much. Welcome. To Leno or Areola. Who do Fulham have this week? Man United. Probably Areola. Although, nah, probably Areola. As much as I was about to say that they, United, not always great going forward, but I'd probably go Areola there. Start Maguire or Pau Torres? Pau Torres. Is there a risk of Matoma being rested versus Everton? I'd be very surprised given they've just had a week off and he's only not started one game so far this season. I'm going to live to regret this, right? But look at his minutes this season. 90, 80, 90, 90, 90, 45. And they realised they couldn't play without him and he came on and scored twice. 90, 90, 90, 90. So, is Stupinan too risky to bring on? So, I'm pretty sure Stupinan's being ruled out this week. So, yes, I wouldn't be owning him. Simicast in. Simicast is very, very popular this week. Yeah. Souček to Mitoma. Yes, I probably would do that. I probably would. Do I think it's very risky not owning Salah this game week? I mean, it's not ideal. I'll be honest with you. I would want Salah this week away at Luton. And I would want him next week at home to Brentford as well. Next week, captaincy is quite an interesting one. Game week 12, captaincy. Spurs away at Wolves, but it's the 12:30 kickoff. Arsenal against Burnley. United against Luton. Anyone? No. Silence. Liverpool at home to Brentford or City away at... Or Villa. There'll be a big captaincy debate next week. And it will decide whether you get a green or a red arrow probably next week. It will probably decide whether you get a green or a red arrow next week. What's my plan this week? Am I rolling? It's just... So I did it on my video, but if you look at my defense currently, in all the upcoming game weeks, there are 3 weeks where I have a bad option in my defense. Game week 11 this week. Game week 13, where defenses look all over the shop in game week 13. Like, it's awful. There's no good defenses anywhere. But I could be selling cash that week. But again, game week 13. And the other one is game week 16. Arsenal play Villa. I will probably have Colwell in here by this time, though. That's the plan. For Everton away. But still, Simicast against Palace. Oh, look. So game weeks 11, game week 13, and game week 16. The 3 weeks I need a defender. Let's have a look at the fixture ticker for those 3 game weeks. So we want 11, we want 13, and we want 16. And we want defensive fixtures sort by difficulty. Brighton. But I'm not buying a Brighton defender because they can't defend. Wolves. Sheffield United, Fulham away, Forest at home. The other one is United, which is why I was thinking about Maguire, but I don't want them. The other, Fulham play United. They play Wolves and West Ham. Wolves at home, West Ham at home. Like, it's not great, is it? But it's okay. But part of the reason for going Wolves is Sheffield United this week. Crystal Palace. This is why I wouldn't buy like a Gahey. Because Crystal Palace play Burnley, Luton, Liverpool. James Ward-Prowse replacement. Hwang, Harrison or Adingra. I probably would go Adingra. Would I play Burn or Lamptey? So again, on Lamptey, I expect Lamptey to play this week. I don't know, but I expect him now that he's back in training. Lamptey back in training, so I have no reason to think he won't start. Just looking for any early news, nothing yet. Do I like Foden as a pick? Worried he might get rotated this week. I wouldn't buy Foden this week because you won't want him from next week. You won't want him for next week. Who to buy if Diaz doesn't make it? I mean, Arsenal from next week, Saka. Does FPL seem more fun to you this season? So Luis Diaz, I'd probably chance it this week and then maybe sell him next week. On does FPL more fun for me this season? What I would say is I think it's been a difficult season. It's nice to see lots of different picks in people's teams. But what I would say is doing well is fun. And that's just like part of the way that I view the game. If I'm having bad week after bad week, like for me, that makes it not fun. Well, not as fun. And if I'm doing really well, that's fun no matter what picks I've got. So I'm doing not bad. Like 300k is good. Like I'm fine with it at the moment. But if I was doing really well, then I probably would have a different answer. And that's not necessarily reflective of the season. But so I think it's nice that we have different picks at the moment. Although there is a little bit of a template forming. But there's enough things going different every week. What news are we waiting for? Nothing really, yeah. I mean, just people might want some of the defenders, but start Solanke or Maguire, or go Solanke and Arch to Anderson Saka from -4 and start Saka instead. I probably would do that because you've got Saka then from next week, and I think Saka is a better pick than Solanke this week. So money mindset, although it's a -4 this week, I think it probably benefits you for the longer term. Neto, top 3 replacements. Adingra. I mean, it depends on what you want to do with the money. Adingra, Palmer, Huang, probably. Start Shaw or Gabriel. I mean, I'm going Gabriel over Burn. Shaw has a little bit more attacking threat, and he loves to dive in the box. So probably, I mean, I probably would play Gabriel, but your mate is captaining Luis Diaz. Oof. I probably wouldn't do that, is my advice to him. But, yeah. Trippier or Bowen, start 1. I mean, Bowen. I feel like it has to be Bowen. Reasons for captain this week. I'm surprised I really have to defend a Haaland captaincy. Haaland is at home, Salah is away. Salah's opponents had a week off in the Cup, whereas Haaland's opponents played in the Cup. Salah played 90 minutes in the Cup alongside some of the other Liverpool players, whereas Erling Haaland and all of Manchester City had a week off in the Cup. A rested Manchester City playing against a Bournemouth side who played in the Cup at home versus Salah, who played 90 minutes in the Cup, playing away at a Luton side who had a rest midweek to solely prepare how to stop him. Now, they may well fail in stopping him, but for me, it's a straightforward call. Lamptey or Taylor? Jordan, what was going on? Sorry, was I silent? Lamptey or Taylor? Definitely Lamptey. Burnley, I understand people are starting Taylor because I need to sort out my bench order. Because he scored last week, right? Look at these expected goals conceded numbers. They're just awful. He didn't play the first few. Then he came in versus Forest. 0.7, 0.9, 3.1, 1.3, 1.5, 3.2, 1.08. Defensively, they are shot to pieces at the moment. So I feel like if he hadn't have scored last week, people wouldn't be starting him. So yeah, definitely will start Lamptey over him. Oh, it's cold. It's cold in my house today. Is Udogie fit? We don't know. We are completely guessing on Udogie. Burnley have arguably had the hardest home game so far. This is their first decent home game for them. I mean, but even away, they conceded. I mean, maybe I should play him, but bench Trippier or Gabriel? Definitely Gabriel. If you've got Trippier, definitely start him. It's an easy decision if you've got Trippier because he has the attacking threat there, the assist threat. But yeah. Any updates on Shah? Nothing. He was ill only. Eddie Howe said it was nothing really to worry about, so I expect him to play. Who should I take Maddison out for? I'm not necessarily sure I would do it this week for anyone. I probably would just keep Maddison for this week. 6 straight lost for Brentford. I mean, Brentford beat Chelsea last weekend, so... Dan, thank you for the super chats. Diaby and Martinelli or Saka and Gordon? I mean, Diaby is a better asset than Saka and Gordon, I think. Saka definitely outweighs Martinelli for me at the moment, especially with Jesus injured. Neto to Douglas Luiz. Fine replacement. I don't dislike Douglas Luiz, but yeah, I mean, I don't dislike it. He is playing for the team that's expected to score. You are relying on set pieces with him, though. Any midfielder with a value of 4.8? Not really. Midfielders. Where are we going? 4.8. Not by the name of Dunk. Longstaff. Oh, he's 4.9. Sorry, not helpful. McTominay you don't want. Sarr you don't really want. Murphy's injured. Brownhill, no. I mean, not really. Not really. Nakamba, Anana, Garner have all played the most minutes. Garner looks pretty nailed, but his online data is dreadful. Nope. So not really. Enzo. I mean, you don't want to buy Enzo. He missed last game, but that's because he just had a child. Maddison to Bowen. I'm not sure I would force that this week, given that Spurs had a week off. And Bowen is playing away at a Brentford side who don't look half bad at the moment. So the sub sound is so Christmassy. Oh, well, thank you. I definitely did it on purpose. Oh, 6 straight lost for Sheffield United. Yeah, I mean, maybe I should buy a Wolves defender then. That's funny. Why do I play this week who do I play? Trippier or Saliba? I don't really understand people considering benching Trippier this week for an Arsenal defender. I would definitely play Trippier this week. If I had Trippier over Burn, it would be a no-brainer. Trippier would be in there over Gabriel. Have I considered Branthwaite? I have, but the Everton fixtures in the weeks that I need them are well and truly awful. So in game week 11... they play Brighton at home. In game week 13, they play Manchester United at home. And then in game week 16, they play Chelsea at home. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. The only issue with rolling a transfer this week is if I decide not to buy Bukayo Saka next week. I then look at my team like this next week and I have nothing to do. Like, I might end up selling him anyway. Like, Burn out might be my move next week anyway to Dawson if they look okay. And just sit him on my bench. Which is very exciting. What a transfer. What a transfer that is. Majed, you're not wrong. So that's the issue. If I do roll my transfer and I decide I don't want Saka next week, then I might end up buying Dawson anyway next week. And then if I'm buying Dawson next week anyway, then should have just bought him this week. Wolves' defensive numbers are not great, but they've had really difficult fixtures. So like, against Bournemouth, 0.61. Against Villa, like, okay, yeah, Luton, they led up 2 XG against Luton. But recently, it's not been ideal. They kept 1 clean sheet against Everton, it's true. Does Dawson have decent goal threat from corners? Probably, yes. How am I planning on getting Saka? I mean, next week, I've got to decide if I want to sell Bowen, Diaby or Mitoma with Forest, Fulham and Sheffield United at home. But I suppose I am in a position where Saka will have Burnley at home, right? So I've got to see that as well in there. You think we will get United leaks? Probably not. I don't think we usually do, but they're not normally a team I pay massive attention to. Let me have a look. Nothing. So, start 3. Simicast, Gahey, Cash, Trippier, Gabriel. Definitely bench Gabriel. And then it's Gahey. I'd probably bench Gahey, to be honest. I'd probably play Trippier over Gahey. I just like the... Burnley attack a little bit, so I'm not sure that's a clean sheet there. You feel this season, even though it's more exciting overall, there are more weekends that are boring with little to no hits. Definitely, I said this, I think there's definitely less transfers being made this season than I've seen before. Yes, I would agree. Like, I put a poll out and 70% of people have taken a max of 1 hit so far this season, which has never happened. Any news on Luis Diaz? So apparently he's back in training this week. That's all we know. That is all we know. So how long do we have? How long have we got until the deadline? Half an hour. Right. We're going to put it in subscriber only mode. You literally have to have subscribed for 1 second to be able to start using the chat again. But as we get closer, makes the chat a little bit more manageable. And of course, subscribers get prioritized. So there we go. How much do I have in the bank? 1.6 million. So I am short of... I could do Bowen to Saka, but I couldn't do anyone else straight to Saka without a downgrade. Leaves me 0.3 short. It's 0.2 if we get a rise out of Diaby. But then if we get another rise out of Diaby, I probably don't want to sell him. So 0.3 short. Any news? Nothing really. So then I would have... So let's say I did Diaby to Saka and I need 4.3. You know who has this price? Harry Maguire. if Gusto gets he gets injured again, Everton, not good fixtures the week I need him. Fulham, Fulham, but they're rubbish. Their defensive numbers are worse than Wolves, aren't they? Well, look at some of those at the beginning of the season. I could go Robinson, but they're pretty rubbish defensively. Wan-Bissaka, same as Maguire. Interesting. I wonder if he continues to play, then maybe he could be a good punt, just for the price. Just for the price. I wonder what's going on there. But yeah. Is Mubama okay to have? The West Ham striker, he's not getting any minutes, but he's okay to have. He's the cheapest striker, so it's what it is with him, really. You started Maguire this week, you're feeding the bullet header. If it happens, I'm going to regret it. Sometimes a -4 is needed if you want to make quick adjustments and catch targeting game weeks. True. What about Matoma to Odinga to free up funds? That could work. That could work. What's my favourite Christmas movie, Harry? Oh, that's a good question. I need to think about that one. I'm not really a film person to start with. And I say this and people gasp and then I have to explain myself. But I prefer TV programs to films, even at Christmas time. No Haaland, no... So Salah, Alvarez or Darwin captain. So Salah is... My captaincy ranking has Salah second highest. Lascelles, but the Newcastle fixtures, the weeks I need them is not good. So, do I think Lamptey will start? Yes, I do. I'm guessing though. Start Udogie, yeah. So if you've got Lamptey, I probably would play him against Everton. But I am guessing Home Alone 2, the one in New York, is a cracker. Trippier to Cash and Tsimikas for a -4. I mean, I don't know who you're taking out, but Cash and Tsimikas are both good this week. Salah and Son, at least from national duty, future game week, so got a plan to get them out. I mean, it's not for a while. Like, African Cup of Nations isn't until January, so... Well, we can worry about that then. We'll probably just do, like, Salah to, like, a 2-week punt and buy him back again. You might even end up keeping him if he's only back, if he only misses, because he might only miss 2 game weeks because in January he'll play in game week 20 and then there's only other 2 game weeks in January, which is Bournemouth, Chelsea, and then he does come back for Arsenal, so you could in theory hold off until the 10th of Feb to buy him back, but he might not miss that much. Man City team, we've got no team news. We've got no team news. And I'd be surprised if we get anything today, to be honest. I think this is the last week that I don't expect us to get anything. I posted about it in the early kickoffs. The early kickoffs in all of the upcoming game weeks basically mean there's early team news that matters. Haaland triple captain, no. Absolutely not. When there's going to be double game weeks for him later on in the season. Oh, I just whacked my elbow. So game week 12, Spurs. Game week 13, City, Liverpool. Ooh. What did I click on? Sync to calendar. No thanks. Game week 14, Arsenal. Game week 15, we might get Arsenal because it's close enough there. Game week 16, Liverpool. Game week 17, Spurs. Game week 18, Brighton. And then game week 19, Newcastle. Game week 20, Chelsea. And then we don't know from then on out. So, my bench is messed up. What do you mean? I definitely won't advise anyone triple captaining Haaland based on them having double game weeks later on in the season. So you will not get a yes out of me if you want me to recommend triple captaining Haaland or triple captaining anyone ever in a single game week. Like, it won't happen. Is Palmer worth the extra fun to sit on the bench? Yes. And I think he might play up front. He might play false 9 on Monday night. If that impacts people's perception of Cole Palmer this week. Like we saw against Arsenal, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in that role again. Best defender to buy under 5 million. Probably Tsimikas now. Thoughts on Solanke to Ferguson? I would not be buying a Brighton forward. There is enough risk with João Pedro versus Ferguson for me. Little plug, there are almost 3,000 of you in here and only 500 of you have liked the stream. So if you could like, it is massively appreciated and it does support the channel for completely free. So, and hopefully get a few more people subscribed as well. Would I play Gabriel or Maguire? If I had Maguire, I would play him, but I'm not sure he's worth a transfer for me this week. Don't think he's worth a transfer for me this week. Sell Udogi for Stones or cash. I wouldn't buy Stones because he has one good game week and then after that is rubbish again. So Stones is definitely not my top defender transfer in. I am working on getting those, you know, in the top right where I've got like top players to buy. I'm going to get it changed so that it's split by position. So I'll have one which is defenders, one which is midfielders, and one which is forwards. So that if you're looking for a defender, it's not like one player on the list who you might not be able to afford. So hopefully that becomes equally useful for you. But let's see. That's the aim. Hopefully after the international break. Am I making any transfers? How long have I got? 24 minutes. 24 minutes. I'm just going to have to find a transfer next week. This is the issue. Like, Burn's probably not even going to start for me next week anyway. I'll probably play... I mean, I could bench Simicast against Brentford and play Burn against Bournemouth, but... if I decide not to get Saka... I think I'm I don't know. Start Taylor or Gordon. Probably Gordon. Always favourite. Yeah, probably Gordon. Ward-Prowse to Palmer or a Dingerer for a -4. Don't think it's worth a hit, so I probably wouldn't. Nabadip, thank you very much for the very kind message. I hope you have a great day as well. Watkins and Son or Salah and Nketiah? I mean, Salah is the best at... No, Watkins and Son is best, I think. Long-term Watkins and Son. Start Burn or Lamptey. Lamptey. I'm guessing, but I think Lamptey might start this weekend. Thoughts on Jordan Ayew? So I saw one of my members bought him this week. I understand it as a punt, but I also am not a big fan of Palace very much. So if Eze plays, then it's maybe worth a look. But like Everton, Luton, West Ham, Bournemouth in the next 4. Like, I get the fixtures. I'd much rather Eze, but we don't know he's going to play. And I'm not really sure why people are buying Jordan Ayew. He scored against Spurs, but I mean, that's not a goal. He's 1 goal, 2 assists so far this season, and a total of 2 expected goal involvements, having played 90 in almost every game. So, absolute, it's a no for me. You think Arsenal will lose 1-0? Do you? I think Arsenal will score. Am I going to open packs after the deadline? Unfortunately, I don't have any packs today. I did, however... complete the Bellingham SBC last night. And I will do just what Gareth Southgate does and play him at defensive midfield. In my 4-2-3-1. But I'm excited to use him. I've got Ollie Watkins up front. Am I rolling the transfer? I think probably. I haven't made any transfers. I think I'll probably roll, but it's so you can get Son next week. Fine. Thoughts on DCL? For anyone who watched the FPL show yesterday, which I was very kindly asked on again, we did speak, well, I didn't speak, I wasn't on that segment, but it was, Calvert-Lewin was spoken about a little bit, and the fixtures are good. I just worry that he'll break again, but I don't mind him as a short-term punt. I don't mind it. Really need some help. Should I swap Ward-Prowse out for Matoma, but have Naught in the bank, or downgrade Ward-Prowse to someone like Palmer, and then be able to swap? Yeah, so I would do cheaper if it allows Maddison out to Saka next week, definitely. Højlund or Matoma, nothing. The only thing we've had on Manchester United is apparently Rashford's fitness hangs in the balance at a late fitness test looms for today's game. The United understand that Marcus Rashford didn't train yesterday, Friday, due to injury and faces a late fitness test ahead of today's game against Fulham. Cheap defenders other than Tsimikas, Wolves or Palace, Dawson or Gahey, probably. Would I remove Haaland in most games? Would I remove Haaland in most games? I don't understand the question. Haaland is staying for me, and he's staying long term as well. Advantage United. Oh dear. I'm looking forward to watching that game. Any thoughts on Totti Gomez starting for Wolves now? Has the same route to Saka after. Yeah, no, it's what I will watch again this weekend, because Burn to Totti Gomez at 4-4 for Fulham away, Burnley at home could work. That frees up money for Diaby to Saka if Diaby rises, but I think I'm going to roll. I think I'm going to roll. Big stretch. You don't own Son. Take a -4, remove Trippier and Bowen. No. Son next week, if you want to worry about him next week, but don't worry about him when he's got Chelsea. I mean, he could easily do well against us, but would I prefer to play Gabriel over Taylor this week? I am at the moment. They are just a bit rubbish. I just think Palace will score. But then I do think Newcastle will score as well. Just Arsenal away from home have been not bad this season. I mean, Chelsea, yeah, they were rubbish. 0.69 against Bournemouth. 0.3 there. Start? No. I mean, it's difficult with... Let me get someone who's actually played all the minutes. Expected goals conceded. I mean, nothing against Sheffield United. That's crazy. 1.36 against Chelsea. 0.69 against Bournemouth. Ain't Nori or Trippier. I mean, probably you got to play a defender against Sheffield United. Hang on, what if I do you to Kilman, and then the following, if I do Cash and Diaby to Saka, how much does that leave me? It leaves me 4.8. Which is going to be enough to buy Doggy when he's back. I do plan on buying a new Doggy back, but sell Haaland game week 26. I have not planned game week 26. I cannot lie. Doug's Luiz or Mitoma. I mean, Mitoma, if you can afford it. You need some help. You sold Haaland on your wildcard. Now I think you want him back. To make it happen, I need to sell Trent, Trippier, Ferguson from -8 to bring in Tsimikas, Mitchell, Haaland. I mean, they're transfers I don't hate. So -8 this week. If you really think you got a decision wrong, then I would do that. But normally I would say a -4. But if you've got Trent, then I think that's fine. Would I start Maddison or Saka? Definitely Saka. Any Man United news? None. None as of yet. I am really tempted by the Wolves defensive option this week. But do I think I'll do it? Probably not. Start Trippier or Cash. Don't bench Cash, please. I mean, I wouldn't want to bench either, but I would play Cash over Trippier. Would I chase Darwin Núñez the next game weeks or Son? I prefer Son to Darwin still. Luis Diaz replacement. I mean, Matoma maybe. Matoma probably. Harry, do I watch cricket? I do sometimes. In the summer. And then when the football starts again, not really. I'll watch it while there's no football on, basically. I do like it, but it's more of a summer sport for me. So I know the World Cup's on, and England are doing rubbish, so I'm not really watching it. How do I base team and picks on stats, or do I rely mainly on performance as I see it? So I get asked this question quite a lot. I don't use loads of stats. I use XG and XA, and that's about it. Because I don't want to... The nitty-gritty, I feel like, can become a little bit too detailed. Plus, I think trying to interpret stuff that deep can be a little bit difficult at times, but also, yeah, a little bit too much, that I'm quite happy that XA, XG, and then eye test tend to be how I manage my team. As Wolves fan, if you're going to get a Wolves player, really like Ori, going to be very attacking with no Neto. Oh. I am. You need to get... that 8 Nori pick is really tempting. The Wolves defense is really tempting me. It just makes sense to do it because they fit so well. How do I balance work with FPL? A lot of late nights. Udogi to Lascelles or Gordon to Adingra to fund Maddison to Saka. Probably Udogi to Lascelles. Tottenham versus Chelsea. I think we'll probably lose 2-0 or 2-1. What I think your overall rank will be at the end, I have no idea. It's been a difficult season so far. 8 Nori or Trippier. If you've got a Wolves defender against Sheffield United, you kind of have to play him. Why a Nori over Dawson? I mean, it's not necessarily. And I've got about 11 minutes to decide if I want to make this transfer, and I don't even know which of them. Oh gosh, this is not what we needed 10 minutes before the deadline. Man City rotation would not be ideal. One sec. Yeah, that's not ideal. I mean, Alvarez is the one that people are looking after a lot. Let's see if he replies to anyone on Alvarez. Unsure, mate. He's unsure, but he expects him to start. Okay. 8 Nori or Trippier. Still 8 Nori. Lamptey or Gabriel to start. Lamptey. If you've got Lamptey, I would definitely start him. Good morning, Tom. Chat. My brother is watching this morning. Everyone say hello to Tom. Everyone say hello. Go on, make the transfer. I think I won't. I think I'm gonna roll. It's just if I want to start Taylor or Gabriel. Rodri affects Haaland. It's true, but I'm still going to captain Haaland. Morning, Arnie. How are we all doing? All the relatives in this morning. Good luck this week. Thank you. So, save the transfer could be important. I think there's enough options that I want to go with that I don't know which I'm going to keep. So I think I'm going to roll this week. You have nearly the same team as me, but have Saka, Bowen, Son, Haaland, Anderson. Not pointing the fact who should you swap out. I mean, I wouldn't. That midfield's pretty nice. I don't know who you're forward. I mean, it's defence that a lot of people are looking at. There's not many midfield on... Rodri only on 4 yellows. He's having a mare. Well, that's useful, isn't it? You already got Mitoma, Luis Diaz replacement, or wait to downgrade defender. And if you have a route to Saka next week, I'd wait. What's the defense issue in your team? I mean, I've just got Gabriel, Burn, or Charlie Taylor to play this week. I don't know why. I'm just thinking Gabriel is the option that I want to start this week. The predicted points say I should start Taylor, but what did we hear on Eze this week? What did we hear on Eze? Confirmed to be in the squad already. Palace with Eze, I wouldn't back against. Yeah, I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna play it like this, I think. Would I play Luis Diaz or transfer him out? I'd probably play him this week and then maybe sell him next week. I'd take the chance on Luton, unless you want to go like Mitoma or Diaby this week. He has trained all week though. Nunes or Foden. If I had to start one, probably Nunes. Yeah, he's fit. He's in the squad apparently. So let me just see if there's anything more coming on City. Yeah, Rodri only has 3 yellows, but anyway. Gehi or Tsimikas if starting next 2 weeks. Tsimikas. Leave Almiron in or get Hwangi Chan. I'd leave Almiron in. Which pair would I prefer? Gabriel, Burn, Taylor. So I'd probably still bench Burn. I mean, that's the order I've got them in my team. I wouldn't buy City defenders. They have a good fixture this week, and then the next 4 are not great. So there's better options to buy in defence this week. Am I considering Nketiah for next game week onwards? Not really. He scored a hat-trick against Sheffield United. Most teams can score hat-tricks against Sheffield United. It's a bit like the Luton tax we saw at the start of the season. So I don't really have a route. I could do Archer to Nketiah next week, but I'm pretty certain I will not be doing that. Start Gabriel, Burn or Lamptey. Again, Lamptey, pretty certain I would go with him out of those options. What Wolves defender would I go? It's either 8 Nori or Dawson. 8 Nori definitely has more attacking threat. I want to see what happens today with them before I decide that. I might still do it next week, but... Should Burn be totally out of the picture for first 11? I mean, I don't hate Burn this week. I think he's fine, but I'm deciding to go Gabriel this week. Nketiah plays Burnley next week. May have another hat-trick. I mean, he could, true. but I don't need to buy him this week. But I don't think I'll buy him next week. I'd much prefer to try and squeeze Saka in because Saka's a long-term pick. You want to go up from Ward-Prowse and down from Burn with 2 transfers should I make? Up from Ward-Prowse, I mean, I don't know how far up you can get. Can you get to Saka? Probably not. Mitoma, Diaby, down from Burn. There's not loads there for you. I've missed Haaland, Salah, captain twice. Why not Salah now? Well, I mean, if I go Salah now, I might miss it again. But I'm not moving it off Haaland. I'm pretty certain after having a week off that I'm going to go with Haaland. What a nice hoodie. Thank you. Hair's on point. Anyway, James Ward-Prowse to a Dingo. I love it. Throw a compliment in there and you get your question answered. James Ward-Prowse to a Dingo worth it. Yeah, I probably would. Which one to start between Taylor, Lamptey and Burn? Lamptey, Burn in defence or Archer forward? I'd go, if you can start Archer over Burn. If I could start Archer over my defender, I would. But I can't because I need 3 defenders. Mbuemo or Diaby? Mbuemo or Diaby? Probably Mbuemo, to be honest. Diaby has slightly better fixtures over the next 3, but generally, I think Mbuemo's a better pick. I guess people have already asked, but what about triple captain? So no, I still will wait till a double game week to triple captain Haaland, so no. Lamptey, Adingra, Gordon, Van de Ven, pick 2. Adingra, definitely. Probably Adingra and probably Gordon. We're nearly 1,000 likes. It's true. Maguire or Palmer? Palmer. I wouldn't start United defence if you have the choice of someone better. Is Darwin a long-term hold? Until we see him getting rotated again, which doesn't look like it's going to happen actually, but yeah. Yeah, we don't have any team news as of yet for anyone. There are only 3 minutes to go to the deadline as well. So please go and make sure your teams are locked in. Make sure everything is set up as it should be in your lineups. Let me take a screenshot of my team. Maguire or Taylor? Maguire over Taylor. Start Flecken or Areola? Flecken. Flecken over Areola. Thanks for answering any questions. What happened? Whatever happened with McAllister? I mean, he's just playing a different role for Liverpool and he's not on penalties now, so... So, yeah. Start Lamptey or Gabriel. Lamptey. Darwin news, we have nothing. They play tomorrow, so no. Start Solanke or Archer. I'd probably play Archer. First on the bench, Gabriel or Taylor. So I've got Gabriel ahead of Taylor, so Gabriel. Opinions on Totti Gomez. I just need a little bit more on him to make sure that he's going to start. I maybe should have looked into that more, but... Yeah. Cunha, I mean, I still worry about Wolves' attack without Neto there. Burn or Taylor. I mean, Taylor is ahead of Burn in my team. A lot of the benching decisions are answered by my team this week, so have a look at what order they're in my team. Archer or Gabriel. If you could start Archer over Gabriel, I would. Ain't Nori or Ufu Doggy. I quite like Ain't Nori as a short-term pick. No, well, as a pick for the weeks that we need him to rotate in and out of our teams. We have 50 seconds to go to the deadline, so do check your teams. Rolling the transfer. start Areola or Flecken over Areola. Banking the transfer then, interesting. There's enough. A lot of the teams I want this week are away from home as well. You should start the 5 questions sooner to give time to get the transfers done. I mean, maybe. I have been answering questions for 2 hours, but I do realise I missed some. Start Wan-Bissaka or Odegaard. Odegaard. Madison or Edouard. Probably Edouard. Start Branthwaite or Taylor. And that is going to be the deadline. Start Soufal or Trippier. Probably Trippier, but that will be the deadline. That is it. We are there for another game week. As always, we'll do a little bit of planning for future weeks now. So do stick around for a few minutes. But if you are logging off, then send a little thumbs up in the chat and have a lovely weekend. Have a lovely weekend if you are heading off. We are going to stick around. But yeah, thank you all massively for joining. I know there are a lot of deadline streams on a Saturday morning, so I appreciate you choosing me to watch. And hopefully we get some green arrows knocking around this weekend. This is how I ended up. Let me 2 secs. I'll just tweet my team. Roll in the transfer. There we go. Cool. So, I rolled my transfer. So this is how we're looking for next week. This is how we're looking for next week. Let me just check my tweets then. I'll be keeping an eye on Wolves' defence again. I'll be keeping an eye on Bukayo Saka, and I'll be keeping an eye on, my midfielders about how I decide to go and buy Bukayo Saka over the next few weeks. That is my plan at the moment. My total points so far this season is a good question. I don't know if I'll be able to check. Oh, I can. 645. Let me reduce the slow mode now so we can chat a bit more. Right, let's put it right down. Let's put it right down. Keeping an eye on, cheap defenders this week, along with Saka. But my team looks pretty nice for next week. No Nketiah plans. Not massively, to be honest. I don't have a real desire to go and get him in. I could do Archer to Nketiah next week. I do have the money to do it, but I do think Saka is a better long-term for me than Nketiah. So, my plan over the next few weeks... What did he say on Twitter? No, nothing. If you see anything on them, please, just tag me in it. Just tag me in it. So yeah, this is part of the reason I almost made a transfer this week, is because my team looks pretty set for next week. I've put my mic on a little it's not on a stand. It was on a stand before, but now it's on a little arm, and I don't know. Feels nice, but if Wolves look good today, then yes, I will definitely consider them. Next week I've got a transfer and I don't quite know what to do with it. Burn could still leave because I don't actually need him next week. This is called Plan FPL. I put the link in the chat earlier, but I will put it in the chat again. They also have an app. So, like, just get the app downloaded on your phone. 100%. What do I think about Palmer game week 15? Yeah, so game week 15, I plan on buying Palmer. So, my moves over the next few weeks are going to be Mitoma out and Mbeumo in game week 14. Game week 13, let's say 13, it's Diaby out and Saka in, which would mean that I need 0.3 million to be freed up, and I don't have an obvious place to go and do that. If Diaby rises, it's 0.2. Archer down could do it. I could do Burn down and Turner down. There's a few places I could do it. I just need to have a look at Arsenal. I need to have a look at Arsenal and whether I want Saka this week or next week. Whoa. Wow. Ross bent Saka. Wow. So Saka in is going to be my plan. It's a game week 12 or game week 13 at the very latest. Bowen to Kudus could free up that money. Yep. So could Mitoma to Adingra. But I don't think I want to do the Mitoma. Well, the thing is with Adingra... No, Mitoma to Adingra doesn't work because I want to then do Mitoma to Mbeumo. I would argue that Burn has a better fixture than Tsimikas in our team for game week 12. Maybe, but Tsimikas is a better long-term hold, so I'm willing to take the little bit of sacrifice there for the long-term hold of him for Fulham, Sheffield United, Palace in 14, 15, 16, whereas Burn has United, Everton, Spurs in that run. So over the run, I like Tsimikas is a better hold. Burn is also more expensive. Scientists, how are we doing? I hope you are well. You gave you your follow back as well. Why do I think Darwin is a top buy? Because I think he'll start against Luton this weekend. So I think he'll start against Luton this weekend. So what time is it? What time do we get? Nothing on United yet. I mean, it's a bit late now anyway, but so any final questions before we wrap it up? It's not that much. My team looks quite nice for next week. I'm going to be keeping an eye on Wolves, the cheap defenders overall, and Saka. Along with those midfielders, of course, I've got in my team already. I'll be keeping an eye on them because I want them to score me some points. Thank you all. Oh, my chat here is broken. Good stuff. There we go. It's fixed. What I think, Cash game week 4 versus Spurs, 13 versus Spurs. 13 is rough, and I need to fix my defense for 13 a little bit, I think. Rashford was seen out partying, so he's definitely not be playing. We don't know that. Apparently he's got a late fitness test. Yeah. Saka is the focal point. Thank you all very much. Have a lovely weekend. We'll be back on Sunday with a new video. That will be my transfer plans video. As always, then we will have a couple of videos during the week before a deadline stream again next Saturday morning going into game week 12. Those of you asking throughout the stream about free hit is not to be played until at least game week 18. Thank you all for watching. Have a lovely weekend, and I will see you all again very soon.